Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Last evening I did a quick flash video because the Chief Mufti of Scotland was complaining that David Cameron, Lord Cameron, had dared to sort of threaten him with the closure of the so-called pretendy Scottish embassies because he had been in contact with President Erdogan without any kind of foreign Commonwealth oversight. And he said it was very petty and all this, and you shouldn't be judging things from a single meeting. It now turns out, like later on, that it wasn't a single meeting. There were 5 meetings at COP28, and that's on top of the ones that they'd had previously, that they were told they shouldn't do. He knew full well that he shouldn't be having these meetings, and yet did. Now, Alister Jack has waded in. He's saying that, it shouldn't have happened, and he is now seriously minded, Alister Jack, to absolutely charging the SNP government over the court costs for GRR, simply in order to put Kendall in his place. Let's just put this down and maybe you'll start doing as you're told, because after all, Kendall is not as important as he like to think he is. Far from it. So we'll take a look at this, we'll see what's going on and see why Alister Jack is a bit miffed and see why David Cameron is quite right. Here we go. So, Grand Mufti of Scotland slapped down over his 5 unauthorised COP28 meetings as Alister Jack could seek GRR court costs. Now, of course, the treasonous turd likes to think that he is the most important person in Scotland. He's not even close. He is, at best, the Lord Mayor, I suppose. In terms of people and budget, he's like half a Sadiq Khan, isn't he? He's half a London mayor. In that kind of respect. But he'd like to think that he's a world leader, and he is no such thing. We have a UK government. They are the ones that go and have these meetings, that discuss foreign policy, that have a whole Foreign and Commonwealth Office dedicated to international relations. It doesn't need some moron from Pollock, to go out there and start destroying all the good work that they've done. Excuse me. So anyway, the First Minister was blasted by the Scotland Secretary over 2 rows between the UK and Scottish Government, as it was claimed he held 5 meetings at COP28 without a Foreign Office official present. Quite against the rules, and he knows the rules. He's been told often enough. And now he'll complain, of course, that despite having been told many, many times, and he still breaks the rules. Oh, well, they're punishing me. Oh, look at me. I'm being punished. Yeah, you're being punished because you're a dick. So, the traitorous turd was accused of holding 5 unauthorised meetings with foreign diplomats at COP28 as he was urged not to be bullied by Scottish Greens into fighting another gender reform court case. The First Minister was slapped down by Alister Jack during the Scotland Secretary's appearance in front of a Westminster committee. This was yesterday afternoon, so it literally only hit yesterday evening. And of course, that's when I did the flash video. I tend to finish by about 2:30, 3 o'clock of a day. The rest go up on scheduled releases, which is sometimes where you get little flash videos coming in between, and they then go on and carry on as though it didn't happen. Because at the time I was making the others, it didn't. Temporal illusion and all that. Anyway, he was quizzed by the Scottish Affairs Committee on 2 ongoing rows, this is Alister Jack, between both governments involving reserved matters. And he was quick to point out that the First Minister was not telling the truth about the furore surrounding his meeting with Turkish President Erdogan. Foreign Secretary David Cameron has written to the Chief Turd of Scotland to rebuke him and pointing out he could face sanctions if he failed to include Foreign Office diplomats or officials in his meetings with European politicians. And this could include shutting down the 7 Scottish pretendy embassies. Mr Jack easily dismissed comments from the committee chairman and that MP, Pete Wishart, Horrible Stinky Pete. As he said, I think there's a very simple principle here. All ministers in the United Kingdom, irrespective of their ministers in a devolved administration or the UK government, when they're overseas, they may meet ministers from foreign countries, and they must have, and this is the protocol for all of us, they must have an official, a civil servant from the Foreign Office present to take notes. And also, of course, to guide them away from certain topics. So, for example, when the official UK position is that we will not discuss a ceasefire over Gaza. You then get the treasonous turd standing there talking to Erdogan and talking about a ceasefire in Gaza. It goes against official government and national policy. At the very least, it is treason. He pointed out that the Scottish Government had already committed several breaches, including when the Dick refused to let a diplomat in on a meeting with the Icelandic Prime Minister earlier this year. He said that Lord Cameron's latest correspondence was a follow-up letter as the SNP leader chose to meet someone who the UK government did not believe should be met. In that case, they were talking about President Erdogan, a man with very, very dodgy human rights. So obviously a very good friend of the traitorous turd of Scotland. And to show some more flagrant breaches, he highlighted that he also met 4 other foreign politicians without a UK government official at COP28. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the EU, Charles Michel, President of the European Council, the Prime Minister of Lebanon, Najib Mikati, and Prime Minister of Pakistan, Anwar Kakar. And of course, he's going to meet these people and pretend that he's important. No, get the picture of me shaking these people's hands. These people are going, why am I shaking hands with an absolute nobody? He said it's not complicated. If there aren't to be any sanctions, all the Scottish Government have to do is take Foreign Office officials to their meetings. That's all we're asking, and which is incumbent on me and every other minister in the United Kingdom, and everyone else seems to be able to do it. And of course, he's claiming, oh, there wasn't an official available. If there's no official available, you don't go to the meeting. It's as simple as that. It's not difficult unless your name is the Grand Mufti of Scotland and you're a traitorous turd who hates this country, hates white people, is massively racist, and is someone who should have no power or say whatsoever, given the inherent hatred he has for the very country that's done him so well. Wishart tried to claim that Yusuf's, I can't say the word, I'll refuse to say the word, the turd's excuse was correct, that the Foreign Office official chose not to stay with the Scottish delegation and missed the rearranged meeting. That doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter. No official, no meeting. That's it. He said this was dismissed by the Scotland Secretary, who said recollections may vary, quoting the late Queen. Mr Jack said that it was wholly unacceptable for a Scottish government to promote foreign policies which are at odds with those of the UK government. He said it risks causing confusion and it damages the UK standing in the world. This was referencing the SNP's Gaza ceasefire position, with this being discussed with the Turkish president, as I have mentioned. So there he is. There's an absolute shitbag politician shaking hands with the Grand Mufti of Scotland. Or is it the other way round? Who knows? Anyway, I shall round off there. We'll come up and we'll knock this one on the head and move on. There's a lot of stories today, of course. Seems to be a lot of stories every day, all involving the stupidity and dimness of the SNP. But we'll put this one to bed now. Coming up. When you have a politician who's quite incapable of doing as he's told and knowing his place, it's always going to lead to confusion and to a very big loss of face. Because, of course, those who are more powerful, where true power is vested, will be able to exercise authority and firmly put him in his place. And then he'll be totally embarrassed and he'll start going, no, look at me, and be whinging. But I don't care. There are moves afoot, of course. There's a meeting today. Pete Wishart is having a meeting because all the Westminster group are really unhappy with the way that the Grand Mufti is running things up in Edinburgh. And there may be the beginning of the urging of his departure, and it couldn't come a moment too soon. We don't want a racist, hate-filled piece of shit being anywhere near politics and representing people. And the sooner he's out, the better. And perhaps, not having politicians who come from foreign, alien cultures would be better. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, the Grand Mufti is a traitorous turd. Bye.